Before and long after Buddhism reached Japan, the people were led by the principles of Shinto, a mystical folk religion that helped people stay connected to nature and live in harmony with the forces around them. Shintoism is hard to define since it doesn't have a direct origin like Buddhism with the Buddha or Christianity with Christ, and it doesn't have any sacred books like the Bible. It is not a religion that is based on beliefs or philosophy, but it's a religion that is based on everyday practices, and it's a way of life that is connecting people to rituals, each other, and to nature rather than a certain conceptual framework. This Shinto way of life still has a lot to teach us in the modern world, if not more than even before. So Shinto means the way of the gods, or in this case the way of the kami, and kami could be translated as god or deity, but it is much more than that. Kami can be anything from forces of nature to spirits to passed away ancestors. It is the spirit that is inhabiting the physical world, making it alive and full of wonder. And it's understandable why this religion formed in Japan, in the land of vast landscapes and volcanoes and wind and waterfalls. Shintoism was a way for people to connect to the forces of nature, and actually through the worshipping of the kamis have a relationship with the forces of nature. Through Shinto practices, we have a chance to understand and connect to the divinity of nature. And right now we are in Kyoto in Tadasunomori Park, which is the perfect place as it is the most ancient forest within Kyoto, and it has been preserved for thousands of years as it is a sacred grove that is hosting kamis who live here. And in the same park is Shimogamo Shrine, which is one of the oldest Shinto shrines within Japan. You can always notice Shinto shrines by the torii gate, this beautiful red structure right behind me, which represents the boundary of the shrine's sacred ground. The shrine is where the kamis dwell. This is where the kamis come to so the people can interact with them. But the kamis are not bound to only one shrine. They can be at many places at once. And also many kamis can be worshipped in the same shrine at once. Before entering the shrine, you always bow at the first torii gate to show respect to the kami. In Shintoism, most of the practices are centered around purification. But we need to understand what they mean by purification. In Shintoism, there is musubi, which is a word for the creative force of the universe, much like Shakti in Hinduism. And pollution is considered anything that separates you from the creative force of the universe, separates you from musubi. And this pollution is referred to as tsumi. And it's like spiritual pollution, some deeds that you have done that cut you off from the life force in a way. And so most of the practices are for you to wash away the spiritual pollution that you've gathered so you can reconnect with the unity of all things. It is not in a way that you are bad somehow or you were born bad and you need to do things to be better or to be good, but it is just that you're already perfect and innocent, but sometimes things happen and you need to purify yourself so you can reconnect with life force. So after you enter through the gate, you find this washing station which you can use to do purification. And the way you do it is that you first wash your left hand, sometimes there's a ladle, and then you wash your right hand, and then you take some water and wash your mouth. And then don't spit it back there, spit it side. After that, you can go and greet the kami. First, you ring the bell, you give a coin as an offering, you bow twice, clap twice to get the kami's attention, then you say your prayer and bow once more when you finish. In the middle of the shrine is the Go Shintai, the object in which the kami lives. Every day Shinto priests perform rituals for the kamis, which include purification, offerings and chanting. Both men and women can become priests, and unlike in other religions, they can marry and have a family. There are uncountable number of kamis, and anything can have a kami. The sun, mountains, rain, animals, and even hair has a kami. As it became the case with Masayuki Fujiwara, who was apparently such an amazing hairdresser that after dying, he became the kami of hair. Different kamis have different personalities. Some are benevolent, some are a bit mischievous, and kamis can reside in different objects like swords, jewels, or for example, at Kayashima railway station there's a tree in which a kami resides, so the station actually had to be built around it to protect the tree. In Shinto, there is no one God, but the universe is governed by the harmonious cooperation of kamis who live alongside humans. And kamis are the manifestations of musubi, which is the creative energy of the universe. Musubi actually means unite, as it connects everyone and everything. Even if we don't engage in Shinto practices, we can still learn a lot from its way of life. Shintoism is not connected to ethics or morality or a particular philosophy, and there is no reward-based heaven and hell. It is just a simple and humble way of life that connects people to the sacred aliveness that inhabits everything and helps us realize that we are actually one with nature. By building a relationship with the forces that govern our lives, we have a chance to stay grateful and reverent towards the way of things, instead of constantly struggling and trying to change our circumstances. The more we realize our interconnectedness with all things, the more we have a chance to live our life consciously and joyfully.